I know this police just went by. Is there something on that
There's
side?
something going on.
Is there really?
What? I don't know.
Is there flashing lights? Well, they were not rolling
No.
code as we
Oh.
went by.
There was a guy jaywalking in front of me.
Oh,
But
okay.
anyway, sorry.
So
Squirrel.
if they, I know, yeah, squirrel. All right, so we just finished watching Gemini Man. Boy, I have a lot of things to say about this.
Okay.
So, basically, Gemini Man is a new movie starring Will Smith, where he is retiring, and then
He's a hitman.
he's a hitman, yeah, the best hitman.
Mm-hmm.
Because, they have to be that way.
He's
And
developing a conscience.
yeah, so he retires, and I guess they don't want him to retire, so they try to kill him.
No, that wasn't the whole thing. They made him kill the last hit he had. They made him kill the guy.
That was innocent or something
But
like
he
that.
was, the guy was not what he was supposed to be.
Yeah,
He was a bad guy. He was
yeah.
supposed to be like a good guy, but I don't know.
Yeah, so he killed. Yeah, he wasn't a terrorist or anything like that.
But I
He was
don't
something
know. I
else.
still don't know why they wanted that guy dead.
I guess somebody else wanted him dead, and so he went ahead and did it. Basically it boils down to they send a bunch of people, and because since he's the best, they can't kill him, and then send in their ace in the hole, the clone of him. It's basically the whole movie. You finally get to the clone, which is there's no twist. You know what it is. So that's what it is. There's a couple of things that. First, what do you think of the movie?
Had good action,
Yeah, the action.
especially when he confronted him the first time in the streets of Colombia.
Yeah, Cartagena.
Cartagena.
The movie to me was off. I think it's because it didn't look right. And I know that you had mentioned the CGI effects and that you had read somewhere that they were kind of cheap or they were not good towards the end or whatever. I think what happened is there's something that they do where they, like right now we're filming at night and we're filming in our car and we're not getting the best possible lighting that you can have. So what they use sometimes in movies is use something called night for day, which is where they film during the day and then they digitally change it or just change the filming so it looks like night. And I think they did that a lot in this movie. But it didn't look right. Like it wasn't 100% right using that night for day technique. So I had a little bit of problem with that because it just was off. Like it wasn't like it didn't look right. There's some great effects with the de-aging process for Will Smith.
That's pretty good.
Because this is basically, what was his name from Men in Black? I mean, this is basically Men in Black meets The Fresh Prince. You know what I mean? It's like, current day Will Smith meets Fresh Prince. But, like Marvel has done this they did it with
Captain America.
They did it with Captain America. They did it with Robert Downey Jr. In the Captain America movie, and they also did it in Ant-Man with Michael Douglas, where they de-aged them.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I think they did it in Endgame when they de-aged Tony Stark's father, because I think you've seen him before, so they de-aged him before. The one thing that they never done is that they've never done a de-aging and then create action sequence with the de-aging. And I think I know why. It's because then you'll end up with something like Gemini Man, where the scenes had to be done quickly because the whole de-aging process is going to mess up. So the action that you saw, because they had to do the de-aging, either you have a stunt that looks like him, which there was parts where it looked like it wasn't quite him. You can tell that it wasn't him, but they had to put somebody in there. So I mean, there was some issues with that. So that was a little distracting as well. Maybe I wouldn't have noticed had I not known that you said something about the CGI effects. Maybe I didn't know that, but I think I would have noticed too. I think your brain notices these things. But I thought the story was, for an action movie, there sure wasn't sometimes a lot of action, and there wasn't a lot of action on it, and there was a lot of talking.
I thought that was action.
Well, there were some scenes of a lot of action, but
I just was kind of confused as to why they wanted to kill him. Really. So what if he found out that they made up a story to kill that last guy?
If you confronting you, I thought it was a time travel thing.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't. It was a clone. But let's say you're confronting somebody that has your same DNA, that is, we meet a 23-year-old us.
See, that's the thing too. I mean, it does bring up the whole debate on
nature versus
nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
Because he grew up differently. He grew up with just a dad who seemed to love him. The clone did.
Okay.
While Will Smith, the older one,
didn't grow up with a dad.
He didn't grow up with a dad. Actually, his dad was a jerk. I think tried to drown him at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And then left him at age 5, and his mother was pretty non-existent because she worked 2 jobs.
Okay.
So, in this movie, they're saying more that nature is your defining character.
What, the DNA?
Yeah.
Well, I think the physical stuff was DNA. I mean, if you're gonna be allergic to bees, which his character was allergic to bees,
yes.
You're gonna be allergic to bees.
But he had the same kind of internal emotions that the older Will Smith.
Like what?
No. Like when he confronted him in the whatever they were in the barn or whatever. He was, saying, hey, I know how. No, it wasn't a barn. It was the catacombs.
Skull. Yeah, whatever that skull.
He was like, I know you.
You don't.
I think you have different experiences growing up. If you have different experiences, you got a different timeline. I mean, you grew up in the 90s. He grew up in the 80s.
Yeah.
Or 70s.
Well, late 70s, early 80s, yeah.
This kid grew up in actually 2000s, I guess. Well,
yeah, if he's 25, 23. Is that what he was? 23,
yeah,
24? Okay.
Yeah. So you have those different experiences.
He would have been born in 96. We know somebody that was born in 96.
You have, I don't know, just, different technology, he's growing up with a dad who
You're talking about
seems to be
you're talking
a
about
hard
the insomnia, not being able to.
Yeah, I mean, why would he have insomnia?
Couldn't insomnia be part of your DNA?
Well, the older Will Smith, he was blaming his insomnia on, I think, just basically
his line of work.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you have a point on that. I mean, I don't think it was thoroughly thought out. I mean, there are holes in that.
Mm-hmm.
In what would he be able to? You see, that's the thing. That's like being able to predict what the person was going to do. It seems more like it would be a time travel situation. Like if it was himself from another time. He
Sure.
would know what he's gonna do.
Okay.
But a clone, like,
But then again, he might have had the same training because they seem to go to the same hitman training school or whatever.
well, I mean, don't identical twins have identical DNA? I think identical twins have identical DNA. So if identical twins have it, so if identical twins have identical DNA, I don't think an identical twin will know exactly what the other person was gonna do. Like if they were identical and they were chasing each other without them knowing. I know this police just went by. Is there something on that?
There's something going on.
Is there really?
What? I don't know.
Is there flashing lights? Well, they were not rolling code as we went by.
There was a guy jaywalking in front of me.
Oh,
But anyway, sorry.
So
Squirrel.
if they, I know, yeah, it's squirrel. So, but if they were to, if they were to, like, run into each other out of the blue, not knowing who they were, which is what the Will Smith characters did, will one go and go like, why did he know my moves? Or what was I gonna? Let's say they both were in the same line of work. They both
I
were.
don't see why the older Will Smith didn't recognize himself as a young version because the older version should remember how the younger version looked like, and so he should have realized that that was himself. What was it? Guns fired.
God, I hope not. Is everything all right?
I heard something.
It's like this is not good. This is like real life.
I know, right?
Wow. All right, so nothing happened. I think they're gone.
Yeah,
They?
that was a non-event. That was a lot.
That was a non-controversy. Any rate, we actually had to go back to find out what we were talking about. Anyway, so you're saying that Will Smith character should have recognized himself as a young person?
Yeah, I think I would have recognized myself as a young person because I remember what I look like.
I think I would
even have a bunch of pictures of me looking.
I think you're right. I mean, I think he should have recognized himself as a young person, and I think that's something that I think again that's another flaw. There was a lot of flaws in the movie. The one thing also that what is it about us starting to record, and then the whole freaking place goes crazy? Lord have mercy.
They're going to the dispensary.
I think so too. They're gonna have some fun. At any rate, so the there are flaws in the movie. I don't think storytelling, like a lot of the things that happen in the movie, it slapped you in the face.
Yeah.
Like they just hit you with the information that the exposition that needs to be given. You know, the exposition was given about the Gemini program. Like he basically told the girl, and whoever was supposed to be shadowing him or whatever, protecting him or whatever. He said something early on about everything he said was going to come back. The whole thing about the bees, that he was allergic to the bees.
Yes.
Again, exposition. They gave you that kind of exposition. Like it hits you over the head with it. The tattoos, with all of them. I thought those tattoos were going to come into place.
No, they just indicated that you were part of that group.
They're part of that group that knew each other.
Yeah.
I thought something was going to come out of that.
That was a special club.
Yeah, again. Yeah, I mean, but a lot of the characters that died, you didn't really like. I would have cared more had they built him. Like what they should have done in the movie, and this is me fixing this movie, or me attempting to fix this movie. What I would have done is I would have had who he was leading up to the kill, because the movie starts with him killing somebody.
Yeah.
You know, like, and then it goes into the retirement.
It was impressive because
it was impressive how he did it.
He killed this guy on a fast-moving train.
Yeah, I mean, he was the best at what he did. Mm-hmm. So maybe they should have maybe they should have built up his character to get to that point. Maybe he should have been wrestling with some demons or wrestling with a decision, because he killed somebody. Everything was fine. And then he retired because he almost killed a girl. And he was off because he killed him in the neck and he was aiming for the head. Like everything was rushed of why he should retire. There should have been a struggle for him, that maybe he should have been hinting at the fact that he wanted to retire. That maybe maybe he didn't want to do this anymore, or that he was getting uncomfortable at it, or that he was developing a conscience about it. These kind of things, to then when he retires, and then he find out that he did kill somebody that he wasn't supposed to kill, that they did trick him into killing somebody, then there is something of what he sees in this kid, that it is himself, that maybe he wants to fix it so he doesn't make the same mistakes. That you could do if you build him up before he kills somebody. Instead of that whole dead time that you had developing an exposition, maybe you should have had it at the beginning with his character and who he was at that time. Maybe that's how they should have done it. And maybe that is the flaw of why this movie doesn't work. Because this movie does not work. It is a very good idea in a world of Hollywood that is just copying idea. Have you? I know that there have been movies where they're supposed to have been the same person, or I think Face Off was supposed to be like the same, that looked like the same, or something similar to that stuff. I mean, I think we, but I don't think we've ever seen this to this level.
Yeah, it was a good premise.
I mean, it was kind of original,
yeah.
But maybe they should have built They should have built him. The killing should have been the middle of the movie. It should have been the beginning of the movie.
And then at the end,
like they should have. Okay, here's why. Because he kind of developed a friendship with the girl.
Yes.
Which is good that they didn't go into the romantic side.
Yeah.
Kudos for Hollywood for not going for that low-hanging fruit. But, and obviously he said I would have gone from somebody like you. When I was younger. So maybe what they should have done was develop that character. That guy who has the insecurities now. He's 51 years old. He's beginning to doubt other things that he's done. Build that. Middle should be when he kills and he realizes that he is slipping and he almost killed a girl. Retire. And then jump into the fact that they're going to kill him because he knows now what happened. And then you go into the fact that you're running into your clone. And then maybe now you can do something about fixing this guy who is going to make the same mistakes as you're going to make.
I really still don't understand why they wanted to kill him. There was really no reason to.
Well, I think he was going to find out exactly all of the bad things that they have done.
What, they were worried about themselves?
I guess so. But the movie didn't work. It just plain and simple, the movie did not work.
At the end, the young Will Smith, he turned into some college frat boy.
Almost,
which was totally
completely
ridiculous
not. Yeah,
because that is not how he was.
No. It looks like the ending, like they did it, and then they went like, "Hey, how are we gonna end this thing?" And then, all right, we got an idea. We'll just, make them, Hey, remember that movie, Revenge of the Nerds? When they went into college? Let's do that. I don't know. The movie didn't work. It just did not work at all. But it's an interesting premise. And I give him credit for that.
The action sequence with the motorcycle thing.
That was awesome. No, there was some really creative ways of using a motorcycle as a weapon in this movie. Incredibly good. Incredibly good. From him revving it up and throwing it at him, from hitting him with it.
He was hitting him with a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Never would have thought that was a weapon, but
no, that was very good. And they both were really good at riding the motorcycle. Obviously, because I guess it's in their DNA. But I don't think riding a motorcycle is in your DNA. I think it's more like training. But they both were in that particular situation there. You're getting distracted.
Keep an eye out.
I know, right? Anyway, let's wrap this thing up. How many stars do you give it?
I'll give it 2.5.
Really? That high? I gave
The
it
action was good.
I gave it 1.5. It just didn't work. I think they needed a little bit more development on the script.
The action was pretty decent.
Well, the action was okay. The only action part that worked in the whole movie was the motorcycle scene. The motorcycle chase. The chase worked excellent.
The really souped up clone, when he was like running really fast like a robot. Oh, not even a robot, like a Terminator.
Yeah. And
doing all the twirls and junk. And then finally, he was really hard to defeat and whatever. Because there was a third clone,
there was a second clone of him, yeah.
That was like
wanted to kill them both.
Without emotion. So.
Forgot about the third clone. Huh? Anyway, I still give it 1.5 star. All right, guys. What movie are we going to watch next? I want to see that. I want to see Countdown. I know you don't want to. Hey, so what else is going to?
I cannot handle it.
Anyway, good night, Pop, wherever you are.